For our next example, let's look at a case of how we can tie together all the different things we've been learning about this module. And we're going to do that by creating a single parametric structure, a parametric stadium. We're going to do that by basically gathering together some different geometry. We're going to kind of put some controlling geometry together for a stadium shell. We're going to use that to specify some component placement parameters for trusses, for some facade panel elements, as well as some seating within that stadium. And then we're ultimately going to go through and specify for each of those things some different placement parameters. Once we have all that geometry in place, we can then go through and do some computing. We'll compute some placement points for both the trusses, the panels, and the risers. And then finally, in our third step, we're going to place those different elements, the truss elements, the facade elements, as well as these seating riser elements, and adjust the parameters of those as necessary. And just to give you a sense of where we're going with this, let's go ahead and zoom in on this little structure here. Here's what we're going to be building. This is our little parametric stadium. It has these little truss elements, which act as ribs supporting the structure. It has these big facade elements. Okay, and we also have these little riser elements. And this is all tied together in a single graph. And just to give you a sense of the power of doing something like this, let's go ahead and I'll just try flexing it a little bit. For example, right now I have that arc set to about 210 degrees in terms of how much of the stadium is going around. Let's just go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. I'll make it like 240. We'll run that. And when it regenerates itself, you'll see we have a new version of the stadium, and we can kind of change a lot of these different parameters. The controlling geometry with the arcs, we can go through and change, either the number of trusses or perhaps the number of panels. Here's, for example, we have 10 panel columns and 5 panels in each row. Let's go ahead and make that a little bit denser. So let's just give us some smaller panels in each of the different rows, which will follow the curvature of the shell a little bit more carefully. There, it's updating itself. So that's an example of what we're creating. Let's go ahead and take a look at the steps about how we can do this.